This week, the podcast is all about anxious horses when they're being ridden out. We're going to hear from Mark some training tips of how we can curb that anxiety and really improve their training. Hello, welcome to Mark Langley's Horsemanship Podcast, a podcast helping people to understand their horses better, to provide solutions in a calm, connected way. Mark, I'm going to read you the question that's come through for this week. It's from Louise in Australia. It's a little bit of a detailed description, but she writes really well, and I think she's going to sing a chord with many of you out there. She's got an 8-year-old horse, a green horse. She's had him for just over 2 years, and she considers herself a relatively novice rider as well. So they've spent approximately 18 months doing groundwork, and she's transitioned to the saddle recently. His education was started at a 3-year-old, which was a submission-based training style. And she has very much tried to undo some of that through gentle collaboration and partnership and giving him the opportunity to communicate. So it's taken some time, but she's really proud of how far they've come and the partnership that they've achieved on the ground. But now she's having trouble in the saddle. So she feels that he's getting frustrated and anxious with her, and possibly due to her skill set deficits. So she's aware that she has poor rein management on her legs, and perhaps he's communicating some unwanted behaviours, frustration, and then he gets anxious when they go out, which isn't helping her confidence. So she's mindful of how he responds in different situations so she doesn't overwhelm him, but she'd like to know how she can develop her skills now in the saddle whilst encouraging his confidence and patience with her. She doesn't want to teach him any bad habits, but she's noticed that he started to become pushy. She's on your wait list to attend many of your clinics. She's hoping to see you next year at one, but she'd just like some advice in the meantime.
Where do I start? The hardest thing is coming into horses as a reasonably novice person and opening up a horse that has had submission-based kind of training. It's probably possibly been a bit shut down and has those kind of memories in there that aren't great. Opening up a horse is like opening up Pandora's box kind of thing. Like sometimes people go, well, can I put it back? So you have to be careful of that. And I know what you've opened up in some areas has been good, but there's also other areas that you're going, oh, hang on a minute, what am I uncovering here? The first thing about, probably open her up by being available, letting her communicate more, and that's a very healthy thing that you need to do. But you don't want to just rely on that to open up your horse. And when I open up a horse, I'm actually opening it up with guidelines and boundaries and expectations, not just opening it up and then finding out that I've got all these things that I've got to kind of, juggle. Okay, so I can't go through and explain that because it's so much to explain. But And if you listen to a few of the podcasts, we've talked about this in another podcast, similar sort of stuff as pick one thing and make it amazing, make the horse good at it, okay? And then you good at it. And every single person that's semi-novice that I work with and a horse that is having troubles, I pick one thing, okay? You're not going to turn into Australia's best rider overnight, and you're not going to have enough experience to fill all the gaps in the horse's training, which are already there, okay? So that's like when people say pick your battles, okay? So pick one thing, and the one thing I pick is leading, but obviously leading is a whole kind of broad area, leading and all the things you can do with leading. But if it's riding you're wanting to sort of work on by the sounds of this question, just pick the reins to start with. Don't worry about your perfect leg positions and seat and all that sort of stuff. Just sit in the middle of your horse and get him to understand the reins, okay? First, it could be just a backup, okay? Not going on a trail ride for a few days or a week is not going to be the end of the world if he can master and you can master the understanding of some of the basic rein positions, and they're not tricky. They're not tricky sort of, body control things. It's just, if I take 2 reins, are you going to lean, wriggle, fight, or are you going to back up? And you do that 50,000 times if you have to, okay? Until he's 100% letting go of a forward thought, thinking backwards. And letting go of a forward thought means when you watch him back up and you see those ears come back and float back, and he loosens up and he starts walking backwards, that's when he's thinking backwards. And you have to hold the reins till he thinks backwards. So you really work on that so that thing works. And then walk him into the 2 reins and back him up until he stops throwing his head, pushing, things like that. And he becomes very good and very comfortable, and comfortable in the sense that he's feeling good in the mind and he can back up. And if you spend half an hour or an hour just on a back up, stop, walk forward a bit, back up, it wouldn't matter, because he's going to start to get good at it. You're going to get good at it. And then next time when you say, hey, I need to pick up the reins to get you to let go of that thought because you're getting a bit pushy or anxious, he's going to go, I know that one. And he's going to let go of the thought instantly. So he lets go of the trouble behind the thought. Left rein. When I pick up a left rein, look, follow the left rein. Do a U-turn. Can you go in a straight line at a walk and then do a U-turn and come out that direction without fighting and twisting and getting all heavy? And if you have to do it in the side pull for a while, so be it. And it's just a leading rein, It doesn't have to be an indirect hindquarter yield just yet. The horse just has to follow that rein around and back up. And then next it could be an indirect rein where you pick up for the hindquarter yield up, through your belly button up towards your chin and get the whole horse to release the hindquarter. And do those things until there's no fight, and then speed them up a little bit. Can I walk him fast into a U-turn? Can I walk him fast into a backup? Can I walk him fast into a hindquarter yield and the horse follows the reins around? Can I trot him up and then go, can I take up that rein? Can I go into a backup without him going, oh no, I'm trotting now, I'm going to crash? So those simple things just make him amazing. Don't try and ride him around doing figure of eights and over this and over that, leg on, leg, all this. When you want to do the legs, just leg him forward, squeeze, go, squeeze to go faster. No one leg on, go sideways, all that sort of stuff. Just get the 2-leg acceleration working really well and those simple rein positions working really well. But watch the thoughts the whole time. Don't let go of the rein until the horse has changed its thought in a new direction. Most people never spend enough time on simple reins and simple legs. They just go to the next thing, micromanage the horse until they're half shut down and got all this trouble and brace inside them. But if you do that, you'll be a good trainer because you're actually not filling the gaps for the horse. The horse fills the gaps because they understand each individual piece. It might take a bit longer at the start to go out on a nice trail ride, but when you do, you'll enjoy it. You'll have time to take photos, things like that, because you won't be managing this horse that you're getting scared on. The more scared you get, the less you want to ride, and it just won't be enjoyable anymore. So, and the safety issue.
The next question, Mark, is similar but different. It's from Shez from Australia. She's got a mare who's coming along really nicely, and she said it is credit to you because without your videos, she wouldn't be doing this far with her. But she's finding that she's still quite anxious when she takes her anywhere new. She does calm down, she does level out quite quickly, but she's wondering what she might be missing because that anxiety is there. It does sort of going up when they go somewhere new. They have done a lot of groundwork. She has been following your videos. But what is it that she needs to look into to fill this missing hole?
So she's suffering from environmental overload, isn't it? Like she's environmentally getting overstimulated. So new places, things like that are kind of escalating her anxiety. Like one thing I always go back to is graded exposure, and like the last question, go through the basic things that you've taught her, the very basics, and see how well she can understand them. And then when they're sped up, is she okay about that? Riding them up a little bit more and using the tools that you've taught the horse at slightly faster speed, so their processing speed has to go faster. How well do they cope with those things? So that's the first thing you have to do before any environment will take her out, all that sort of stuff. You have to challenge her in that area. When I put my legs on a bit quicker and I ask for quicker responses, does the horse get tight? Is it worried? Does it feel more entrapped? When I pick up the reins, does it feel like I'm trapping it, especially at speed? Okay, so that's really important, and it links into that, as I say, the other question there, for any horse, from a dull horse to a horse that's getting too worried. Then basically her ability to let go of strong thoughts, how easy is she to interrupt in a medium environment versus going further out and stuff like that, and out in different places. Can I interrupt her really easily? Or does it take a little bit? Can I just block a gaze? If she gazes over my head, if I put my hand up and do that, can she sort of let go of that gaze, think back a bit or look the other way or whatever? How far is the thoughts going? When she's going somewhere, has she got short thoughts or long thoughts? Or is she targeting things out there? So if she's targeting things out there that are in the distance, then saying, hey, no, come back, not that far away. We don't have to worry about all that. because some of those horses, they get out and they look at that over there, and it's like, we're not even there yet. We've got plenty of things here to crawl over without you having to worry about that. And they lack presence. They lack the ability to be present in their little space. They tend to sort of target things out there, and then all of a sudden everything's worrying them. So super interruptible and adjustable has to be something you're really looking at with her. Just that no fear of you on her, that has to be there. So all the eye work of, and then after that, graded exposure. Take her out, show her that, and go out so far somewhere where your base is, wherever you start. If you truck her somewhere, go out, ride her in the space where you've turned up until she's centered and she's feeling good, and you've done like an area. Ride a little bit further. If she starts to kind of feel like she's escalating, create a new area just there where you just work on letting go of strong thoughts, following the reins, reset a little, then might go back to the old area. And never let her get too far without seeing everything at all different angles. Okay, and just work on that. So you're taking the softness everywhere you go. You're not just riding, building, targeting, looking at things in the distance till it's too much. So yeah, really work on those things, and yeah, it just might take a little bit longer because of her, Jenny, the way she's everybody.
If you'd like to ask Mark your question and get his insights to help you and your horse, it's easy to join Mark Langley online. Head over to marklangley.com.au and hit join. It's less than a couple of coffees, and the Q&A is just a piece of a whole package designed to support you and your horse with great training.